This is my official first video on my YouTube channel, so welcome. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Today I just decided to do something a little bit simple and quick. So I'm going to be talking about the A to Z shortcuts in Microsoft Word or the whole of Office 365 if you choose to use that language there. But the shortcuts are also usable on PowerPoints and every Microsoft. If you notice, the size of the text just increased. I'll talk about it later. So, for to start with the first letter in the alphabet, A, in almost every shortcut in Microsoft Word, you have to always hold the Control key. If you look at your keyboard, you should see a key that has this exact spelling. That's the Control key, or whichever one. But if you use Windows or any computer or laptop that isn't MacBook, this key, this CTRL key should be there. So that's what control means. So always hold control before using any of the shortcuts. So to start with A, control A is to highlight. If you want to highlight any text, hold Control A. If you want to highlight some of the text, you can hold Control Shift, then the direction of which you want to highlight. Let's say we want to highlight to the right hand side. Hold Control and your Shift key and you press forward. Notice if I also highlight backward, the same thing. Control Shift backwards. That's what the control does. Control A, Control Shift, whichever direction you want to. So let's say this was many text, and I want to highlight downward. So you can hold Control Shift downward. If I want to highlight upward, Control Shift upward. Simple as that. Now for Control B, always know that almost all shortcuts in Microsoft Word works when the text is being highlighted. A good example would be Control B. Now, what Control B does is to bolding a text. Now, if I press Control B, it will bold the text, but not this already typed text. If I press Control B now, and I type welcome to my YouTube channel, notice, notice that it's didn't bold in the proper text, only the one I just typed. So let's get rid of this. To hide to bold in a text, in already typed text, you have to press Ctrl A first, highlight the text first. Let's say I want to highlight the whole, I want to bold in the whole text. So I'll press Ctrl A, then Ctrl B. Now, let's say I want to bold in only channel. Remember to highlight backwards, hold Ctrl Shift back key or the arrows that faces the left hand side in your keyboard, then Control B. Let's say I want to highlight only welcome. Control Shift forward, then Control B. Simple as that. Now, what does Control C does? Control C also works when you've already done Control A, which is to highlight. You must highlight your text first before you can use Control C and Control B. Now, Control C is to copy. If I press Control A and I press Control C, it has copied. Most times, people just decide to highlight, then right click to get the copy option. But no, remember, this is a shortcut tutorial. They might know we might not use the mouse in this situation, or your mouse pad if you're using a laptop. So Control C is to copy a text. Remember, to copy a particular text, Control, let's say you want to copy only welcome, Control Shift forward key, you copy only welcome. Then once you press Control Shift forward key, or the direction where the welcome is, press Control C. Let's say you want to highlight only the W in the welcome. This time you don't have to press Control. There won't be any use for Control in this situation. Just only Shift. Shift, then the direction where the W is. If it's forward, press forward. If you want to highlight WEL, keep pressing forward, only holding Shift. If you were to highlight the whole of welcome alone, Control Shift forward. So if you hold Control Shift, it highlight each um word, like welcome. So highlight only welcome. If you're gonna forward, keep pressing forward, gonna highlight only so again my. Or if you needed only the W or the a particular text or whatever in the whole letters, just hold your shift and you press forward. If you want to highlight, let's say the M in the welcome, you can always go to where the M, like front of the M, then hold your shift, then press forward. Remember, Control C works when you've already done Control A. So Control A is to highlight, Control C, sorry, is to copy. I'll copy this text now. Usually I would jump straight to copy and paste, which is Control V, but I need to do this alphabetically. So Control C is to copy. Now, Control D is a little bit tricky. Control D is very tricky. The first part of what Control D does is to duplicate a text. But in Microsoft Word, it's a little bit different. In Microsoft Word, there's something we call Word Art. Word Art. If you go to your inserts and you click on Word Art, this is Word Art, and you press Control, you click on any of, let's say, let's use this first one, and I type it, let's say, A. Now, in this situation, if I press Control D, in this situation, it will duplicate. Sorry for that. It will duplicate. Control D. See, it's duplicating. But if um if since we're not going to be using word art in this situation, what does Control D does in the normal text that isn't word art? Now, for Control D to work as well, you also need the Control A. Now you press Control A and Control D. Now it gives you it brings more like a menu out for you. So most times Control D, or I won't say most times, but this what's it called here? This little piece of menu you're looking here is when you, let's say, you need to uh put a strike through or a double strike through in a text. So if I put a strike through here or a double strike through, it's gonna look like this at the bottom. Or let's say you're trying to solve some mathematical equations and you've been told to write, let's say, 3 raised to power, let's say 10, for instance. So let's say you've been told to write 3 raised to power 10. You understand? Now they said, remember, the raised to power is the 10. Now we're going to only highlight the 10, leaving the 3, using the shift, not the control shift, just the shift. So you hold your shift and you move backwards. Remember, the reason I'm going backwards is because my cursor, this dimming straight line here, is at the back of the 0. So shift backward. Then you press Control D to give you that option of double strike through, superscript and subscript. Now, to give this 3, to make this 3 looks like 3 raised to power 10, I can use, I think it's superscript. Yeah. If you use superscript and press, notice the 10 at, this preview menu, this preview screen here has gone up or look a little bit smaller. If I uncheck this, it looks normal. If I check this, it's gone up. If I press OK, there you go. This is one of the benefits of using Ctrl D. With word arts, with shapes, with images, with anything that isn't text, like literal text that you typed, not in word arts, you need Ctrl A to make it work. But if you're using word arts, images, pictures, shapes, and you press Ctrl D, it only duplicates those things. But if it's with text, you need to highlight first, then you press your Ctrl D for this to work. Now, what does Ctrl E do? Now, let's leave this 3 raised to power 10 here. So let's say, or you know what? Let's just get rid of this. Let's say I have, let's say I type welcome to my YouTube channel. I type, let's say I type and for Control E, I want Control E centralizes any text. Let's say this, you are amazing, you guys are amazing, was supposed to be more like a header or something, or the sub, like more like a header, the header for your text. If remember, before Control E can work, you also have to also press Control A. Let's say I want to centralize this whole text here, everything here, everything. I'll press Control A, then Control E. See, it makes it, everything stays in the middle, which is beautiful. That's one of the few things I love about Microsoft Word. It makes your life easy, simplifies it for you. That's what it does. Control E centralizes every text in your Office, your Microsoft Word Office um, page. Let's say I needed only just this, you guys are amazing, to be centralized because you guys are actually amazing. Remember, hold your shifts. Notice where the cursor is. It's still dimming. Hold shift, then backward. But since we don't have much time, let's hold Control Shift to highlight each word, not each text. Then Control E, centralized. That's what it does. Now, Control F. What does Control F does? Control F helps you find a text. So let's say I needed to look for YouTube in this whole text. I needed to look for YouTube. Where is YouTube? I need to find YouTube. This one, you don't need to highlight anything. Just hold Control as usual, then your F. If you look by your left hand side, you will notice this is it's there is this letter A here, and notice how it highlighted everything that has the A in it. So let's say I was looking for amazing. See, it immediately finds it highlights the amazing for me. Now, you would think, well, it looks simple. Where this actually comes in hand, or where it comes handy is when you have a bunch of text, like a bunch of them, a bunch of text, and you needed to look for a particular text. Most times web developers do this. They use Ctrl F all the time. So let's say you needed this is what Ctrl F does. It helps you find text. It helps you find a text. If it's a text, a letter, a word, anything, it helps you find it. It doesn't look for images though. Anything that has to do with word, text, it does it for you. It looks for it for you. That's what it does. Now, Control G. Control G works when you have, let's say you have 10 pages. For instance, let's create another page. Let's say you have 2 pages. What Control G does, let's press Control G. And also in Control G, you don't need to highlight. Control F, Control G, Control H as well. You don't need to highlight anything. So Control G. Now, he said, if you notice, Control G is to go to. Go to means, let's say you want to go to a page. Let's say you're doing a project and someone told you, oh, in page 16 of your project, you misspelled amazing. You're like, oh, control, page 16, all right, no problem. Just press your Control G and type in page 16. But in this case, I'm going to put only page 2 because we only have 2 pages here. Type in page 2 and you click on Go To, it takes you there immediately. Simple as that. So instead of scrolling, like trying to scroll down, no need for that. Just press Control G, page 2, click on Go To, and that's it. Control H. Remember, Control F, G, and H does not need to be. You don't need Control A for that. You don't have to highlight anything for Control H to work. Control F, Control G, Control H does not need highlighting or Control A to highlight. You don't have to highlight anything to use those 3 letters F, G, H. Now, what does Control H do? Control H is also to find and replace. Remember, Control F is to find, only to find. But Control H finds a word and replaces that word with something else. Let's say I was going to change amazing. I was going to look for guys. Let's say type in guys. Find it first. It's found the guys. So what did I need to I need to replace these guys with something else. Let's say lovely, lovelies. Instead of using the word guys, I'm gonna replace guys with lovelies because you guys are much. So click on replace. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's been replaced from you lovelies are amazing. That's what Control H does. It finds a word and replaces that word with something else. This also comes in handy when doing a project. You would need these shortcuts when doing a project. No need for any of this using a web or whatever. No, just know these shortcuts, write them down for your own benefit. Control I, what does Control I do? Now, most times you see letters looking bent in a way, like slants. That is what they call italic. Italic, it's a very, very, very important style in typing, especially for projects as well. So let's say I was going to make, and also Control I works with Control A. They are like twin, just like the way Control B works with Control A. Control I also works with Control A. Now, what does Control I do? Control I makes a word slant or italic. Now, if you move it, this is my mouse cursor. If you move this, this is what italic does. This is an italic. Notice at the bottom it says Control I. Now, let's say I was going to make you YouTube italic. Now I have two options. I can either click on this I here, or I can use the shortcuts. Since we're using shortcuts in this tutorial, I'm going to press Control I. See, it slants. That is what Control I does. Control I works hand in hand. Control A. If I was to make the whole text italic, Control A, Control I. There you go. That's what it does. Now, Control J. Now, Control J is like the opposite of Control E. Remember, Control E centralizes a text. Control E centralizes a text. Control J aligns the text in a very neat fashion. And also Control J works with Control A, but most of the time it doesn't. I'll explain. Now, let's say I had a bunch of text here. I had a bunch of text here and I needed to arrange this text in an orderly fashion, everything looking cute and amazing. All I have to do is to Control A, remember, Control J, or yeah, Control J works with Control A as well. Then I press Control J. Notice You Lovelies Are Amazing has aligned itself to the left, and it looks amazing. The reason why you might not notice the huge difference here is because this amazing ends here. If something was on here, okay, let me just put something here. Let's try You Guys Are Amazing and oh, Rainbow. Let's use that for example. Let's get rid of all these guys here. Oh, sorry. Now, let's highlight this whole text here. And then let's justify or Control J, as they call it. Control J, the J stands for justification or justify. Let's justify this text. Control A, then Control J. This is how it look like. Yeah. This text here has been justified. already. The reason why it doesn't look so great right now is because this is just a tutorial. If you had a normal text or a normal document that needed, let's say, your CV, and you typed in, let's say, in your bio on your CV, it is like it's highly demanded that you justify when describing who you are. Always justify. It's beautiful and it's neat. It makes your work look neat. The reason why you can see this right now is because this is just a tutorial, so it doesn't really look great. But if you had a bunch of text, Control J is highly recommended or it's highly needed. Now, Control K. Control K is a little bit controversial. Now, I believe Control K, if you if your skills in Microsoft Word are very very excellent, you can use Control K to uh, link a text to a website or an image or a music or anything. Control K is Control K stands for hyperlink. Hyperlink. Remember, Control K also works with Control A. I'm going to highlight only this YouTube and then press Control K. There you go. Now, it said, if you notice at the top here, it says insert link. Now, let's say I needed to go to YouTube, for instance. Address, let's say youtube.com, for instance, and I press OK. Now, it's turned blue, which means it worked. Now, to access whatever is in this hyperlink, I need to hold my control, your control, the CTRL on your keyboard, then click on the hyperlink. Here it says this side is not valid. Please try again. Okay. I think I made a mistake here. So one sec. Let me fix this. You know what? Let me just use the shortcuts. Control K. Okay. Let's say I needed to go to. Okay. So before this tutorial started, I downloaded some pictures of Elon Musk. So I'm going to link this YouTube to Elon Musk picture. So let's click on this picture here. Then click on OK. Now, instead of going to a web, let's go to a document. And if I click hold Control as usual, then click on YouTube. There you go. There's the big boy, Elon. Now, that is what hyperlink does. Hyperlinks links you to another website or another page or another document or something else that isn't in this document that we're in right now. Let's see if we can make this work. Okay, okay, let's click on okay. Oh, it worked. There you go. There you go. Yeah, it works. So all I had to do was to copy this web address here, this web address, copy it. Remember, Control C is to copy. Copy it. Then let's say I click on you know what? Let's just go to YouTube instead. Let's click on YouTube, for instance. So this is YouTube. This is YouTube. Now let's highlight this. Control K. Then paste it. Let's paste it here. Okay. Now if I hold my control and click on YouTube, it takes me directly to YouTube. Beautiful. That's what it does. Yeah. So Control L is pretty simple. And also you need to highlight as well. So let's say all this text, it doesn't really look good that much. Notice it doesn't look well spaced properly. Highlight this whole text or place your cursor at the beginning of the text. Either you highlight or place your cursor at the beginning of the text. Then press your Control L. Control L means align to the left. Control L. See, it is back to what it's supposed to look like. It has been aligned to the left. How you know this has worked is okay. Let's press Control. Let's take it back to what it was. Align to the left, which works with Control L. If you don't want to use Control L, you can use this align to the left here. Notice this is still justify. We're still in justify. So if I click on this thing, this left align to the left here, it takes it back to normal. Or we can just use the shortcut, which is Control L. Beautiful. Now, Control M. What does Control M does? Control M moves the text. It moves the text to the left or the right hand side, but I think only the right hand side. I may be wrong, but I'm very sure only the right hand side, not the left hand side. To move this text, and when I mean move the text, I don't mean like copy from the page and paste on that page. You know, literally move the text to the left. It's gonna move the whole text, everything to the left until if let's say until only the U is standing alone, the O is standing alone, the Y is standing alone, the O is standing alone, the U is standing alone, the L is standing alone. That's what it does. Let's take, for instance, Control M in this situation. Notice it's moving, it keeps moving until YOU is standing alone. That's what Control M does. I don't really see how this is really beneficial to any for any of us anyway, but just to put it out there, moves the text. Control N, which stands for new page, is to create a new page. If I press Control N right now, it's gonna create a new document for me, which isn't part of this one right now. So instead of like, let's say creating a new page at the bottom, no, it's gonna create a fresh document, literally a fresh one. So let's, for instance, Control N. Notice this document here, it says document 1. If I press Control N, which is for new page or new documents, it says document, let's say document 3 or something, because I already created second document before. So this is document 3. Another new page again, document 4. Another new page again, document 5. So that's what it does. With Control N, you don't need to highlight. Highlighting isn't needed. Control O is to open previous documents. So usually to open previous documents, you have to go to File, click on Open. But since we're not doing that today, we're using shortcuts. Just and also Control O doesn't need to be highlighted as well. Just click on Control and press your O. It opens. So you click on Browse, then click on whichever documents or you need to open. That's what it does. Let's open this document, for instance. This is what it does. So Control O doesn't need to be highlighted. Just press Control O and it opens, gives you the option to choose or choose which location you decide you want to open or you've decided that you want to open to get the document out. Control P is to print. We all know that. If you need to print a document, usually you will come to File, click on Print. But since we're not going to do that today, let's say we needed to print out this text here or this page. Click on Control, and you don't have to highlight as well. This does not need any, this has nothing to do with highlighting the document. Just press Control E and it takes you straight to the printing preview immediately. Remember, Control P, no need for highlighting. You can choose which printer you want to use here. So that's it. Control Q. I don't think there's anything like Control Q. There's nothing like Control Q. What Control R does is to align your text to the right hand side. Control R aligns your text to the right hand side. So let's say you needed this whole document to move to the right hand side. Control R. Notice it says align right, align to the right. If I click on this one, align to the left. If I click on this one, it's centralized. If I click on this one, it takes everything to the right. If I click on this last one here, it justifies everything. Now we're dealing with Control R here. So Control R, align to the right. This works very well when you type in your address on a letter. When typing the address, your address on a letter. Let's say when you're sending out a letter to apply for a job or something, and you press Control R, it aligns all your address to the right hand side beautifully and nicely. Control S, we all know that Control S is to save. Control S is to save. And also you don't have to highlight to save. Just press Control S. Control S, select the location you want to save your document, and you're good to go. I don't think Control T does anything. Let's see how this is useful. So we're gonna just skip that. Control U is to underline every text or a text or a particular letter in the text or in a word or something. Let's say I need to underline everything in this text. If I press Control U, it's going to underline everything. Or if I click on this U right here, it's going to underline everything. But since we're not going to click on this one, I'm going to use the shortcuts. Control U. Notice everything has been underlined. That's what Control U does. It's simple. You have to highlight for Control U to work. Control U works when something has been highlighted. If I refuse to highlight and I just press Ctrl U, only if anything I type after I press Ctrl U is going to be underlined. Notice everything is been underlined. But if I had highlighted the whole thing, I press Ctrl U, everything will be underlined. So that's what Control U does. Control V is to paste. Control C work hand in hand with Control V. Control C is like the twin brother or sister for Control C. Control V is like the twin of Control V. If you copy, you need to paste. Usually people will right click on paste to save you the stress. Just press Control V. Let's say if I highlight this whole document, this whole text here, and I type Control C, I press Control C. That was a mistake. I press Control C, and I needed to paste this document somewhere else. Let's say in a new page, in a new document. Remember, to create a new document is Control N. Create a new document. Control V, which we are working with right now, is to paste. Press Control V. And the beautiful thing about this Control V, it works in almost everything, not just Microsoft Word, even your normal computer. If you copy an image, Control C, you go to your hard drive, let's say your external hard drive, to paste those images there, it pastes it there. That's what it does. So Control V, paste text, anything. But since we're dealing with Microsoft Word in this situation, it pastes anything you copy inside Microsoft Word. Either it's text, either it's pictures, either it's word art, anything, shapes is pasted. Control X might be to cut. Yeah, Control X is to cut. When you cut a document, when you cut something in Microsoft Word, it's almost the same thing as copy. Because if you press Control X and you press Control V, it cuts the document and pastes it. The difference between copy and cut is that if you copy, you still see the text there, or you've copied it. But if you press Ctrl X or cut the document, the word literally disappears. Then paste it wherever you want to paste it. In this situation, let's paste it right where it was before. Ctrl V, it comes back. Ctrl X is to cut, Ctrl V is to paste, Ctrl C is to copy, Ctrl X is to cut. And also Ctrl X works when you highlight whatever you want to cut. Now, Control Y. Control Y is to redo. We have undo and we have redo. Undo is Control Z. Redo is Control Y. Now, let's say I type cupcake. Cupcake, for instance. I'm like, oh, cupcake isn't great for this situation. Can you remove that? Usually I would delete, but since I'm not going to delete, I need to practice how to use my Control Y and Control Z. I can press Control Z, which is to undo, and Control Y is to redo. Oh, and I'm like, oh, hey, I think cupcake was great. Can you bring it back? Sure. Usually, I don't have to type cake again. All I have to do is to just press Control Y. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The A to Z shortcut in Microsoft Word. This video, if you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, share, and also thank you very much for watching this video. I seriously depend on you for this channel to survive. Without you guys, I don't really think I will even have a channel in the first place. If I have no one to teach, then I can be a teacher. If a professor who claims he's a professor has no university to teach or no students to teach, he's not a professor, he's just a man with fancy degrees. That's it. So you guys are the one who makes this channel grow. I highly depend on you on this channel, and without you guys, this channel won't exist in the first place. So thank you very much. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye.